Hello everyone, welcome to another DSP video. We are back with Persona 5. I've gone a little bit farther. Unfortunately, I don't think some of this stuff might be new to me, but I watched this video before, and there's not a lot of, stuff that's gonna spoil my experience, I guess. So, let's watch this, and, it's gonna be great, because it's gonna affect you'll see. Let's watch.
What is up, everyone? Phil here,
up?
and welcome to KO Gaming. For the last 3 weeks, I have been immersed in the world of Persona 5. I've absolutely enjoyed every moment of the 40-plus gameplay hours I've put into this game so far, and every single time that I live stream
This fucking robot voice.
game, I get a ton of questions from people about, what do you think? Is it better or worse than the previous Persona games? What do you like? What do you dislike? And being that I'm now about a third into the game, yes, it's actually that long of a JRPG, I felt that this was a good time for me to make a kind of impressions/review in progress video to let you know exactly what I think about this game, what I like, what I dislike, and comparing it to previous Persona games that I've played at this point in my playthrough. Now, sadly, I can't continue playing the game at this point because Atlus, the publisher, has put in place some really strict requirements for live streamers and Let's Players, stating they cannot go past a certain date in-game or else they have the chance of being DMCA stricken on YouTube and having copyright strikes put against them, or even having their streaming capability suspended on Twitch due to their wishes. I don't understand it. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later on.
He doesn't understand it. Okay. Okay, yeah, you don't understand it, Phil. Sure you
video, but what I want to do is make this video now, as I've now finally hit that in-game date and played as far as I possibly can for a public playthrough, and I want to give you my impressions before months pass, and next thing you know, this game is old news and no one really cares anymore. So let's talk a little bit about Persona 5, and then I'll give you my opinions on this whole Atlus debacle. The Persona series
Atlus debacle
may serve as the shining example of an IP that directly listens to feedback from its fans and improves upon itself every time a new installment is released. Persona 5 is no exception. There are numerous examples of things in this game that you can tell were either streamlined or improved based off of shortcomings from previous iterations. Now, in the past 2 years, I actually had the pleasure to play both Persona 3 and 4, and I can tell you a ton of improvements that were made in 5 that definitely make this game much better than the previous installments, so let's talk a little bit about those right now.
Okay.
Number 1, the graphics. They're great. Persona 5, the
graphics? Dude, it's like cel-shaded, it's like not that detailed, it's like, it's good, I mean, it's nice looking, you know, it's not like, you know, wow, the game looks like shit, it's not that, but like, no one, like, plays this game and leaves like, well, graphics, dude. Like, come on.
Time in the series, I actually feel like I'm playing an interactive HD anime.
Anime. I'm controlling anime, dude.
Even the little graphics that talk as you have dialogue during the game all look high quality, pure 1080p visual.
It's fucking anime. I'm sorry, but like, yeah, when you go from like an SD, like standard definition, to HD, you might see some differences, but like this is between PS3 and PS4. It's fucking anime. Like the colors might be more vibrant, but like it's not like, yeah.
And they look gorgeous. I am very pleased with the visual quality of this game. I can't complain at all. I actually think it does look like an actual animation. The gameplay, in many ways, has been streamlined. First of all, the addition of fast travel between locations makes the game so much better. Once you go to a certain area in your little city of Japan, you can actually go around and fast travel to and from these areas once they've been unlocked, rather than having to go between, say, a different menu option here or there. And that was one of the main problems with the previous Persona games, is there was a lot of dead time when you had to travel in days between one point or another, and it kind of added to a little bit of boredom and or repetition. Here, since you can fast travel directly to where you want to go for a social link or to maybe raise a stat, it saves time and it makes sense. Combat has been streamlined and refined. My goodness, how has it been? First of all, you can actually, once you learn the weakness of an enemy, auto-select that weakness. So if you forgot what the weakness was of a certain enemy type, now you can just automatically use that ability that your character or persona has to do it right away, rather than have to fumble through menus. There's just so many different things that make combat more streamlined and more fun. Different team-up attacks, different follow-up attacks. Now you have the ability, once you stun an opponent or use their weakness so that they're downed on the ground, to either hold them up for money.
He doesn't talk about the one more feature, which is a really cool feature. I actually really like that feature, even though the enemies can also use it, but I like it. I like the combat in this game. It's actually really one of my favorites. Like, this is honestly my first real JRPG, because like I played a little bit of Final Fantasy X, didn't like it. I didn't like turn-based games at that time. The Metal Gear Acid games, as weird as it sounds, kind of got me a little bit interested in RPGs. And then I played Final Fantasy 15 a bit, kind of lost interest in that game. But then, you know, I was like really debating getting this game, bought it, and I really like the combat. It feels strategic. It feels like it feels rewarding once you understand the weakness of an enemy and you can exploit that. I like switching between melee attacks and persona attacks, because it's like, okay, do I want to use SP on these small enemies, or should I just use melee, or should I use a gun attack? Like, it's kind of cool getting to think like that. And I do appreciate that. I do like that about this game, and I think the challenge is nice. I love how challenging it is. I like games that are challenging, and it doesn't feel bullshit hard either. It feels like I do feel it's a little weird when a boss can do 3 things in a turn. It kind of pisses me off, but it's like, it is what it is.
In case you need more money for whatever you might need it for in the game, you can ask them for a useful item, or you could choose to try to recruit that persona, which then leads to a new dialogue tree where you have to answer questions based on the personality type of that particular persona. If you answer them right, you can recruit them and they'll join your party. If not,
but it's also random as well. It's not, so simple either.
Well, then the battle's just going to continue. A really awesome thing that I thought was a great addition, and I definitely enjoy it, although I will admit, one frustration about this new system is that it's not always apparent what dialogue option you should be using, and a lot of times, if it seems like you're supposed to be more positive or jovial or joking, some of the options for their dialogue don't even seem to be of that type, so maybe it's lost in translation between Japanese and English in a lot of these cases. I'm not...
Lost in translation. Phil, it's fucking randomized. It's random.
Sure, but it's not always apparent what you're supposed to pick, which can lead to a little bit of frustration. But for the most part, the combat is greatly refined, more streamlined. Hell, even the results screen at the end of a fight looks so stylized and interesting. I mean, it just...
Interesting. That's a weird word to use. Like, it just feels... He's trying to sound fancy. Like, you can say, oh, it looks stylized... and I like how it looks. It looks very, like, either streamlined or just looks very cool or something. You could just leave it at stylized with, like, oh, the results screen looks so stylized with the popping letters for your experience, numbers for your experience, with the fonts, with the jagged lines, with the, where the camera goes. It's very, like, quick and interesting. Instead, he wants to sound cool. But, like, interesting makes no sense. No one looks at it and does, like, oh, this design is very interesting. Oh, man. Like...
outstanding how much they've improved upon this formula.
A style is the way that the screen looks is a formula now, guys.
Dungeon crawling in Persona 5 has also...
This is the issue with his reviews, is that he tries to make himself sound like a fucking articulate person. And it's like, you're talking about a video game. Like, you don't really need to, like, pad it out. He pads his reviews out. Like, he goes in a roundabout way to talk, and I do that too. I'm not going to say that I'm any better at it, but he's getting paid for this. So there's that. He gets paid to do this, and he's talking in a roundabout way, padding his videos. Come on.
Been drastically improved, because instead of going through endless repetitive hallways that all kind of look the same like previous games, now you get unique dungeons that are actually catered to the personality of the person who's the boss at the end. There's puzzles now added to them that was never really a factor in previous Persona games.
Okay, alright, I want to ask Persona fans out there, any hardcore Persona fans, because I only played Persona 5 and Persona 4 Arena. Were there puzzles in the other Persona games? I really don't believe that there wasn't. That just sounds kind of weird to me that they wouldn't have puzzles. Just saying.
Feels a lot more like a traditional JRPG than rather the grindy combat endless gauntlets of enemies did in previous.
But you are grinding in this game too. And the other thing was when I was watching him that kind of drove me insane was that he was fucking rushing through enemies. He wouldn't, like, I was watching this part of his playthrough and he was just going through the hallways not fighting a single enemy. So he's not getting a lot of good XP. When you do the negotiations, you really have to decide when to do negotiations because it halves your XP. So I only do negotiations if I'm strapped for items or for cash or if I want to get a power or a persona. But otherwise, I just fucking kill them because I get more experience, and that's also good. On top of that,
Persona games, but if you like that feeling and you want to do kind of an endless kind of repetitive dungeon, because that was a staple of the Persona franchise up to now, there's a whole new section of the game called Mementos, where you can drive around in a vehicle and attack endless waves of kind of repetitive enemies. This is a great place not only for experience building, but also for fundraising, for getting items for your
fundraising. That's a weird fucking thing to say.
Well, like weapons and armor, but in addition to that, to catch up on personas that maybe you didn't catch when you were actually in the main dungeons, this is a great opportunity to go through a second time and kind of catch those personas you missed out on. I love the ability to not only play in a more modernized dungeon that's more stylized and unique, but also to go back to the traditional dungeons. This is just doubly good.
Doubly good. Doubly good. That's quite a word you got there, Phil. I don't think he even talks about in Mementos, if you like dilly-dally in a room, you'll actually fight an enemy that will fucking kill you. So that's pretty cool.
I can't believe that they did fan service basically for longtime fans, but also
fan service. Mementos is fan service. No, you dummy. It's a way to balance the fucking game. If they didn't have Mementos, it would be probably harder for the player to gain experience. That's probably why they had Mementos, because they probably realized if we got rid of Mementos, so you didn't have a thing like that in the game, people wouldn't be able to get XP at a good rate. It would probably be unbalanced a little bit. I mean, it might be doable without Mementos, sure, but it'll probably be a little bit unbalanced. So that's probably why they have it, but whatever.
Completely skip Mementos and do the more unique dungeons, you could do that too, so it even caters to more modern audiences. Thumbs up on both fronts there.
Thumbs up!
Outside of dungeon crawling and combat, another staple of the game is the Velvet Room and all of its Persona fusion systems and its registries and summoning of Personas. Even this has been more streamlined. Most of the time your Personas get auto-registered, so you never have to do it manually unless you've already leveled up a Persona to get a new unique ability, so that's a nice thing. Yes, the triple and quad and even higher level fusions still exist in the game, but now you've got other new features as well, like the ability to lock away a Persona to let it develop a way to get out of its own weakness. You know, one of the biggest negatives about using certain Personas in the Persona franchise is that they had elemental weaknesses, and therefore, even though they may be strong in one regard, if they get struck by that weakness, now they get destroyed in combat. Well, you can actually take a particular Persona and have it develop an immunity to its own weakness, making it incredibly powerful. That's really cool.
Wow.
Another thing you can do is take your weaker Personas that you no longer need and use them to buff the experience points of maybe a higher level Persona that you're looking to level up more quickly. Another vast improvement. So even there, in the whole Velvet Room kind of fusion of Persona system, they did drastic improvements as well, and that's a much liked addition. Outside of the combat, dungeon crawling, and fusions of Personas, one of the mainstays and main focuses of the Persona franchise has always been the story.
But not enough to understand the restrictions that Alice put in place, but the story it's nice. It's on the side. It's a side dish to the game, I guess.
Cast of characters and the things that you do during your free time between combat and all those critical story developments. So let's talk a little bit about that. First of all, there's been 5 main party members and a few periphery characters involved in the plotline of Persona 5 up to the point that I've gotten to. They're all unique. They're different. They have their own personalities. The American/English voice acting is great, and I really enjoy it because it seems like it is kind of like an interactive anime where you've got a cool cast of characters that you...
It's like an interactive anime, dude. Yeah, I do like I'm a dubber, by the way, guys. I know. You're probably gonna crucify me now, but I like listening to my own language. I don't mind listening to it. I like subtitle shows as well. I don't mind if I really have to read subtitles for a show, I will do that. But if I know the show's gonna get dubbed, I'll just wait for the dub.
Kind of feel an affinity to. There's a few that I obviously like more than others because of my own personal taste, but the bottom line is that they're fun and they feel real and they feel organic, and it's not like a forced deal where you have a generic party of people who you don't really care about and you're just kind of thrown into. Here it's a lot different, especially due to the great writing and the backstories of the characters that get fleshed out during the course of the game. There's also tons of side content to do in the game, a lot of things that you'll see returning from other personas, such as eating at certain places, studying at certain places, taking on different challenges throughout the city that will allow you to up your stats, things such as guts or knowledge or charm that will allow you to then have further relationships with either your team members or other people who you find throughout the city. Speaking of other people, let's talk about the social links system, which in this game has now been changed up to be called the confidants system. Yes, you will find people throughout Japan that want to help you in various different ways. Fortune tellers, investigative reporters, politicians or wannabe politicians, all kinds of people you'll just encounter randomly throughout the city, and after talking with them a little bit and maybe doing a little bit of side missions, you get an affinity with them and raise your friendship level. Now, by doing this, not only do you aid in your Persona fusion efforts by adding extra experience point boost levels when you fuse personas in the Velvet Room, but you also have these cool abilities that unlock as you up the affinity with these particular confidants. For example, if it's a teammate of yours, maybe you'll have the ability to tag in and out during combat and help each other in combat, which is always appreciated. But there's other people outside of those who join you in the dungeons who also can be your confidants that could do awesome things like boosting the experience that you gain in a dungeon, or selling you unique healing items or accessories that allow you to automatically regenerate HP or SP while you're in combat. There's some that allow you to unlock special abilities and or up affinity with other characters. It's really cool and unique that every single confidant gives you something for your effort. It's not just like, oh, I'm doing this and grinding in this certain relationship to advance it so that I can get the highest level persona. It's not just about that anymore, and that's a really added improvement. Now, also, they have seemed to have made it way easier to find these social links. I'll admit that in Persona 3 and 4, there were some links I didn't even know existed, and I only knew because maybe someone who was watching my stream or whatever let me a little bit of advice, and all of a sudden I would stumble upon one.
Wait a second, I thought that was in the time where you don't get handheld in stream chat. Now you look at stream chat, and back then, wow, dude, what a fucking piece of shit, right?
Because I walked to a certain area on a certain day because I was told to do so. In Persona 5, it's pretty much organic. You're gonna run into these people variously throughout the city. As long as you see someone with like a word bubble above their head and you talk to them, generally it's gonna end up being something useful. And I also found that it doesn't seem to be super difficult to figure out when you're gonna level up a relationship, because again, because of that new fast travel system, it actually has in that menu the ability to tell you who you can interact with at a certain time when you have free time, and it also tells you if you're gonna level up, so you can make an informed decision on, gee, should I spend time with the doctor, or should I spend time with this teammate, because who's gonna level up first, and maybe I want that to level up before I hit the next dungeon. It's really well improved. You can tell they put so much effort and probably listened to so much.
Really well improved. Just say really improved. Oh my god, this guy is a valedictorian, my ass. Second highest SAT score? Yeah, sure, buddy.
Feedback of the fans over the years loving these games and saying, man, if this thing was just tweaked a little bit here or a little bit there, it would be better, and it's much appreciated. Now, I would be remiss and actually doing a disservice if I did not mention the outstanding soundtrack so far of Persona 5. By far, of all the Personas I've played, even though I loved the soundtracks of the previous games, this one is my favorite. There are so many rockin' tunes that I start dancing on camera half the time when I'm
because he's not a clown, dude. Oh, the music's so good, I can't stop dancing. Dude, his dances are not even like genuine. His dances don't go with the beat. It's just him doing this. Look, I'm DSP. I'm dancing, dude. Like, come on. Like, oh my god, my rabbit has better rhythm than this guy.
Playing this game because some of the music is just so good and it gets you so pumped up. You know, when you're going towards a boss and you get this really rockin' tune to get you in the mood for a big epic boss fight, it really pumps you up and gets your adrenaline flowing and gets you excited, more so than, say, a game that just plays generic dungeon music and you're like, meh. Persona really...
Oh god damn. The way he says meh is so fucking annoying. And just that, again, as I said, if you're going to be a professional reviewer or be a reviewer that gets paid or wants to be taken seriously, don't fucking say meh. I'm sorry. I get triggered every time I hear meh. Oh man. And I know someone's gonna comment in the comment section with that, and let me tell you,
the extra mile to put in a soundtrack that's going to get you into the game, and it's very much appreciated. I'm actually considering purchasing the soundtrack of Persona 5 outside of the game, even though it is
yeah, sure,
selling for $30 currently.
I think I found it for like 15. I think. I don't want to check. Fuck it, I'm lazy. But I have the soundtrack. It's a pretty good soundtrack. It's worth the money because it's a lot of fucking tracks. It's a lot. It's like 3 discs worth. So, yeah, of course it's going to be a lot of money. It's a lot of money that's worth it.
Has over 100 tracks, so many good ones in there. I mean, just in particular, some of my favorites. Some of the special music as you're approaching a boss, the music inside of the airsoft gun shop in particular is really good. The third dungeons, just in general, song was really good. And I'm sure there's tons more, but those are just the ones that come to my head.
He doesn't think about the fucking combat music. That is my favorite. When I first heard that, I was like, this game is great, and it kept me playing. I think it's called Last Surprise. That is a good track. That's one of my favorite tracks, next to Life Will Change, Rivers of Dust, I think it's called. That one's a good one. There's a lot of good tracks, but those are my 3 big favorite ones that I like. And the intro song is good too.
General battle theme is really good. After 40 hours, I'm not tired of it or anything like that. I strongly recommend the soundtrack of this game. It's absolutely outstanding. Now, of course, no game is perfect, and I do have just a couple small gripes with Persona 5 that I would like to bring up, at least for as far as I am into the game. These are really the only ones that I've run up across, and therefore I think that these are very forgivable, but they need to be stated. First of all, there are segments of the game when the story will pull you away from having freedom to do what you want for several days at a time. Now, this has always happened in previous Persona games, but in particular with this one, knowing that I had a date that I had to stop playing it, I would have liked to have more freedom to do things like, oh, I want to do this social link, I want to do this kind of stat raising on this day, and all of a sudden the story says, well, for 4 days now there's just plot and story developments, a good, 20 to 30 minutes of just cutscenes and that kind of stuff, and really no interactive gameplay.
Because it's a narrative game! Dummy! Every Persona fan will tell you that, it's... The only thing that people get annoyed with is that if they rent out a book or they rent something and they have to return it in the game's date, and then you trigger a days at a time, a story event that takes days at a time that makes you return a book late. Yeah, that's probably the only thing that kind of sucks. But other than that, it's like no one cares because it's a fucking narrative game. They knew that was what they were gonna get.
And that does get kind of frustrating. I mean, I understand they're doing it for a reason. You have to have time lapse and you have to have an explanation for how events can happen. But at the same time, when you get so immersed in this game and you want to be able to control it fully and you get that taken away from you at long spans at a time,
I mean,
it could be...
I do get where he's coming at, though, because I had the same criticism with The Order 1886, where I got cabin fever for being stuck in cutscenes forever and ever and ever. But, that was a shooter. That was a third-person shooter, not a game that was like, oh, this is a narrative-driven game. It wasn't. This game has JRPG elements in it, obviously. It's obviously a JRPG, but it's also a game that... It's like Metal Gear. It's like Metal Gear, in the sense that Metal Gear has these long, expansive cutscenes, except for MGS5, but they have long cutscenes. What makes them interesting is that, it gets away with it because the story is interesting. You're interested in seeing what happens. That's what is with Persona 5. Like, when you get into a story thing and it passes a lot of days, but you're reading a lot of the story and you're just like, wow, this is interesting, and that's the point. That's why it can get away with it. The Order 1886 can't get away with it because it's not this kind of game. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty frustrating.
You know what I mean?
Number 2, the combat of the game still relies heavily on random number generation and just plain good or bad luck. Let me explain. Sometimes you'll be in a dungeon and you'll just absolutely steamroll through it. You will actually whoop every enemy's ass, no problem whatsoever. Doesn't seem to be any kind of an issue. Then you'll go back and fight the same exact enemy, and all of a sudden this enemy will use the weakness of one of your party members on him immediately, do it again, kill that party member, then you go to try to, you know, maybe heal, and next thing you know, he does an area of attack effect that attacks your whole party, and next thing you know, you're completely wiped out.
It is kind of a random number generator, I guess, but the thing is that it's trying to simulate that the enemy has some form of AI. Like, you're not going to make an enemy that is completely sentient in a game. That's like impossible. So they have it this way where it's like, if it uses an attack, and it knows, oh, this person's weak against this at that point, it might exploit that like you would. In the game, they give you the same amount of opportunity to turn the tables on the enemy. It is frustrating. It is frustrating when you play against a boss and you get screwed over by some chance. Like, for example, I was fighting the Madarame boss a few days ago, and I was getting bodied badly because I was not managing my team very well, or that he would use an attack that was just right, the perfect storm to fuck me over. And you know, yeah, that sucks. It's a little frustrating, but at the same time, though, I never wanted to stop playing. I didn't sit there like, fuck this game, quit. Like, it's not that kind of frustrating. I mean, if I was younger, if I was like 12, 13, I might give up. I might say fuck it and never play it again. But, you know, you just have to get over it. You just have to get good. You have to either, like, prepare for that. Like, you know, when I was trying to do it more and more, I decided I should have 2 healers on the team. So I have 2 people on defense, and 2 people on offense. Have my character block at some moments, because if he dies, it's game over. So I put him as kind of like a intermediate to be defense and offense. I only use him on offense if there's like if the mouth of that boss was almost done, because that does a lot of damage. So it's like, okay, well, if I defeat the mouth, I'll be able to at least survive the eyes and the nose. It's very fucking, like, it is random, but it's like you can like, after you die, you can plan against it or do something that will not let that be an issue. Or something. I mean, you'll always be at risk of that shit.
It's funny because I was steamrolling through the 3rd dungeon, and then all of a sudden, when I started reaching the home stretch, I started getting wiped completely because of bad luck in the random number generation of how this game chooses what attacks your enemies are going to do. Now, listen, this is a mainstay of a lot of JRPGs. They all kind of do it this way, especially the traditional turn-based ones. It's just randomly bad luck sometimes if the enemy just happens to do that one perfect combination that's going to completely dominate you and kill you. But it's still frustrating, especially if you've been doing really well and maybe you were really looking for that save room that was going to allow you to save your game before you continue on, and you're right there, and the next thing you know, wham, you get wiped right before the door, and you're like, you gotta be kidding me, now I gotta replay like 20 minutes of gameplay to get back there. It could definitely be really frustrating. I am playing this game on normal difficulty, and I guess I should call out the fact that on previous Persona games, because I really didn't have a lot of experience with the franchise, I did play them on easy. So, you know, yeah, maybe it always has been this difficult and I just don't know it, but for me, it did seem a little bit annoying that every once in a while you get that lucky hit or bad luck, and boom, now you gotta replay a bunch of gameplay. But hey, I think that comes with the turf when it comes with traditional style JRPG.
But it's the same thing with Pokemon and everything like that. Of course, like, they're gonna get lucky hits and criticals and shit, because that's the point. That's the challenge. Welcome to challenge, Phil. I know you don't like challenge, but it's challenge.
And honestly, that's really where the negatives kind of end for me with this game. Unlike a lot of other games where it's easy for me to kind of pick out and analyze the shortcomings, Persona 5 doesn't seem to have a lot of them, at least up to this point in the game that I've played.
My only criticism so far is that I wish that more dialogue had voiceovers. I'm not saying that all of it needs it, but I wish some of it had more. And I also wish there were more, like, cutscenes, you know, like the anime cutscenes. I wish there was some more of those. I feel that the ones we have are kind of like, they're very gorgeous to look at, and then they just kind of leave, and you never see them again. And I kind of wish there were more of them. But I get it. I think they just want. I think it's just that it's more it's more expensive to do full like cutscenes in anime because you do have to pay someone to do the in betweens, and that's a lot of money.
Love it. I want to keep playing it, and even though I realize that it's hard to retain viewership for a game that you've played 40 hours into and it's a turn-based.
Talking about viewership in a review. Viewership in a review. Viewership has nothing to do with your review, Phil. If I review, it's like if I review a Big Mac. I'm like, oh, the patties. Also, I'm like saying like, well, usually I know not a lot of people care about what I eat, but you know, it's a hamburger, guys. Like, fucking, no one cares what other people think. It's your review, Phil. No one cares about your viewers.
JRPG, I cannot wait to get back to it. I can tell you right now, honestly. Even only being a third into the game, that Persona 5 is a front runner for my picks for Game of the Year of 2017. And, you know, it's early. We still got 8 more months left in the year. But I'm going to stick to my guns and say, you know, even among the great games we played so far this year, Resident Evil 7, Neo, Horizon...
Resident Evil 7, I'm sorry, I like that game, but that's not Game of the Year. No. Like... The only thing that I will give a lot of credit to Resident Evil 7 was that it was at least able to put Resident Evil back on track to what it should be doing. Like, it's rough around the edges, but it's like, you know, going from Resident Evil 6 to that, it's like a huge improvement. Like, it at least has survival aspects to it. There is some horror in it, but I think once you leave that mansion, go to the bug house, and the Saw section, the game kind of drags. The boat and the main mansion are the best parts of that game. A little tangent right there, but Resident Evil 7 is not a Game of the Year contender. This is more of a Game of the Year because it's more solid, and there's a lot of stuff in it that you can get a lot out of. There's a lot of content and quality and effort in this game, so that's why it's more Game of the Year. This, Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Nier Automata are my 3 like runners for Game of the Year for me, because Nier was a really good game.
Zero Dawn, Zelda Breath of the Wild. I have to say that Persona 5 ranks right
Horizon Zero Dawn. But you shat on it. You said it was generic and bland. That doesn't sound like a Game of the Year to me, buddy.
If not slightly above them right now for what it is as a JRPG. I love this freaking game. It almost seems like it could be the perfect formula for success because they not only listened to the feedback of their fans, but they made tweaks and upgrades and took their time developing the game. I haven't even run into a single game bug yet, which is awesome. I cannot wait to play more Persona 5. But it needs to be said
here we go.
That sadly what Atlus is doing right now, in my opinion, is not only disrespectful, it's just stupid.
I like how he said that too. Disrespectful. So you're telling me Persona fans, hardcore Persona fans who rushed out to buy this game, feel disrespected that they can't stream it? No. They're just gonna keep playing it. Even if I'm a full-time streamer, let's say I'm a full-time streamer, I make a lot of money. I'm like, oh yeah, man, I can't wait to play Persona 5 on stream. I get to make money, play my favorite game. Yay, woo, you know, that kind of shit. And then Alice says, oh, you won't be able to record it or stream after this date. Don't upload it, whatever. I'm like, okay, well, sucks for you guys. I'm going to keep playing it because I like the game. And then I'll just stream some other random shit, or like Nier or something, and then I'll play Persona 5 on my own time because I like the game. I wouldn't feel disrespected because they did not have to release the game here. They could have just kept it in Japan and said, well, you know, PS4 is region unlocked, they can just import the game. I mean, they could have easily just said that. They could have just easily done that. Like look at Dead or Alive, for example. They did not release it in the West because they're like, well, yeah, but if you want to just import it, fuck it. Like, they could have easily done that with this game, but they didn't. So, it's not disrespectful. It's not stupid for them to not wanting their game spoiled for people. It's stupid in the same sense that it's stupid for Nintendo to claim videos. And the idea that I get where Phil is kind of coming from, that he just thinks it's dumb to have these restrictions for streaming or whatever. So, I kind of see that point. I see where streams are coming from when they make these kind of complaints, but at the same time, it's their fucking game. It might suck for their image for the public, but they have the right to do it. Like Nintendo, yeah, it sucks that they cease all fan-made projects. It sucks that Nintendo claims all ad revenue for people's videos when they play Nintendo games, but they have the right to do that. It's their property. They can do that. It's just that it might suck, it might be terrible, and it might not make them look like the best company on the planet, but they have the right to do that. Alice has every right to do this because they've done it before. They've done it for the Japanese release, and at the end of the day, it's a fucking video game. You're gonna play the game regardless. No one sits there and is like, oh, I can't stream it, well, fuck this game. No one thinks that. I did not buy this game on the principle of, oh, it can be streamed or it can't be streamed or whatever. That's fucking dumb. No one thinks like that. And it's like stupid.
So, allow me to explain. Atlas came out right before the release of Persona 5 for Western audiences and said, listen, we don't want the story...
They said this to the Japanese public as well.
...be spoiled for this game. Therefore, if you play past July 7th, the in-game date, because this game actually has date progression. July 7th, the in-game date, because this game actually...
That
has played past July 7th, the in-game date, because this game
actually... Dude, he was drunk. This game has... I gotta hear that again. I'm sorry, when he does this shit, it's like the best thing to listen to.
Therefore, if you play past July 7th, the in-game date, because this game actually has date progression.
I love that.
Things are allowed to be done or whatever. But if you stream or record a Let's Play and release it past the in-game date of July 7th, that you're going to get DMCA takedown notices, copyright strikes against your YouTube channel, and or you'll be banned or suspended from streaming on Twitch TV. Now, some people didn't take this seriously and just kept playing, and guess what? Some people actually did get affected and were suspended or kicked off of Twitch for a couple days. A couple people had copyright strikes stricken against them. And the bottom line is I can't chance that. You know, this is my livelihood. I can't have...
That's my livelihood, dude! Atlas is putting a gun to my head.
Have the ability to not be able to stream, upload videos and make money on them for days at a time. It takes two.
See, this is why he should not have a robot voice for these KO gaming videos, because it leaves room for a lot of error. I'm not saying that he needs to have these long pauses or something. I mean, he can be a little bit quicker, but he should at least. But doing it like this in single breath takes is a terrible fucking practice, because you're actively thinking what to say and you're talking at the same time. It's terrible. Like, I mean, it's like me doing this video. Okay, everyone, welcome to Theo Videos. We're going to be talking about DSP, and DSP is doing this video about Persona 5. And Persona 5 is a really good game, but he's saying it's a bad game because it's terrible. I mean, yeah, sometimes I get tongue twisted too, but the reason why it doesn't happen as much or I don't get exhausted is because I take breaks. And at the same time, I do have a tendency to talk really fast. When I was a kid, I talked really fast, so it was hard for people to understand me. So I'm trying to be more cautious, whatever, you know what I mean, about how fast I talk, how clearly I talk, because sometimes I do have trouble articulating some words, because it is
weeks to remove a copyright strike from a YouTube channel. So just to give you some idea, if Atlas were to take 3 particular videos and strike them all, I'd not be able to make any money on YouTube for 2 weeks. That's no good.
But he said that YouTube is dead, though. Remember Phil said it's all about Twitch now. But he doesn't care about YouTube, guys. Yeah, same way that he doesn't care about views.
So for me, I have to kind of be safe and play it by the book. But ultimately, the question is, why would Atlas be doing this? And you say, okay, well, maybe Atlas thinks, you know, this is a very narrative-based game, and if the whole story gets out there on the internet, or in the form of a Let's Play, that people won't buy the game and play it for themselves. To which I have to say, that would make sense if Persona 5 had a worldwide unified release, but it didn't.
It didn't!
Persona 5 was released in Japan in late 2016. This game...
And Danganronpa 3 came out like last year or so in Japan. And you fucking sucked their dicks for allowing you to only play 1 chapter.
been out for roughly 5 to 6 months in
Fuck
Japan
Atlas,
already. Most Japanese people have already played it and beaten it, and already know the full plot. In fact, if you go to Wikipedia right now, you can read the entire plot of Persona 5. That wasn't stricken down by Atlas, so why would a Let's Play or a
Because it's fucking Wikipedia.
live stream of the game be stricken down? It doesn't make sense. In addition, yes, Atlas actually had just the same kind of very strict requirements against Japanese players who played the game when it was
By the
new.
way, I want to notice that, I just want to say this. He pulled the release date from the Wikipedia page that has the story. Just I'll let you think about that.
But after a month or two, they released those restrictions and allowed full playthroughs of the game. You can find full playthroughs of Persona 5 in Japanese on the internet right now. So why would they make it so that English-speaking audiences can't do a full Let's Play of the game?
Because the game came out recently, and so they took the same rules from Japan and released it there. Because they probably don't think that... But also, I want to ask this. There's a Japanese version of the game, like the Japanese one. Is the text in English? Because he keeps saying, oh, well, it's in Japanese. They can find the Japanese story. But I don't think Japanese games have English text. I don't know. I think it's kind of moot then, because it's in Japanese. So if I watch a game that's all in Japanese, the text is in Japanese, I'm not gonna know what the fuck's going on. I'll just know they're sad. Oh, they're angry in this scene. And that's all I'll be able to get from the game, from that story, because I don't speak Japanese, I can't read Japanese. I don't know, someone correct me on that. Was the Japanese game, did that have English text? Did people upload English text of that game? I don't know.
There's no logic behind it. It's not about spoiling, because you can already find full playthroughs and read the whole plot online, and Atlas didn't stop that. So what is the real...
How are you going to stop Wikipedia, by the way?
...intent behind this besides maybe just ignorance? And I hate to say
ignorance! No, it's not ignorance. It's just they don't want spoilers, man.
But it seems like the upper management at Atlas are completely ignorant of internet culture. They're not aware that
internet culture. Fuck off.
The plot of their game is already out there, and they're just doing this stuff as a knee-jerk reaction to the fact that they somehow feel they may lose some valuable profits because of those wily Let's Players out there who play our games and show the whole content to the world. It doesn't even make sense, because if this were a 5-hour...
They made a lot of money, by the way. They made a lot of money off this game. But it feels a lot about the profits, right, guys?
Or 8-hour-long game, maybe they'd have...
I mean, imagine if someone said, well, Phil, I want to make a This Is How You Don't Play montage on my own channel. Let me just do that. I'm sharing my content about your content. No, don't do that. Don't fucking take my content and upload it on your channel. Give it to me. Let me upload it, okay? That's the best way to do it. Whatever.
Some kind of an argument because, oh god, someone plays the game in 1 or 2 days, the whole game's on the internet. This game
Then why do you care when people make montages about your videos then? Why do you care? If whatever. Yeah, because it's my videos, dude.
So long. I've played 40 hours and I'm only a third into it. So think about that. The game's over 100.
But you praised Danganronpa for allowing you to only play one chapter.
Hours long. How many people are even going to take the time to watch an entire 100+ hour playthrough to get the whole plot exposed? It makes no...
Phil, people will will go straight to the end of your gameplay and then spread that and spoil people and piss people off.
Logical. I can't find one piece of logic in the reasoning or any kind of factual evidence of why this would make any sense for Atlas to be doing this. It just seems like it's stupidity. And ignorance on their behalf. And the sad part is, if the upper management of Atlas is stupid and ignorant, that's not good.
What a fucking asshole. First off, he's an asshole for insulting random people he doesn't know. And I like it was like, they're ignorant and stupid. Like, he kind of like chuckled after that, like, it's their fucking game. And honestly, Persona 5, honestly, it's obviously gonna sell more to the fans than to newcomers. Like, I could have easily said, oh, I'm not gonna buy Persona 5 because I'm not a fan of Persona 5. I'm not really into that game. I'm not gonna buy it. But I bought it because I heard a lot of people loving Persona and I wanted to try a JRPG. and I figured Persona 5 would be you know fun because it's new. I like the style. I like the I like a lot of stuff about the game, and I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying it. I didn't have to watch a Let's Play to get that feeling.
They need to be in line with current internet culture and gaming culture. Let's Plays and live streams are now an integral part of this. There are companies that go out of their way to provide free copies of their games to...
But you shit on these companies that do this. And you shit on the people who get these copies, remember? You dummy.
Gamers, so that they can play these games and do this and expose thousands of people to this game that maybe never would have played it before. There's been people who've come to me, dozens of people, saying, Phil, I never played Persona before. I saw you playing Persona 5. The game looks awesome. I went and got it myself and I love it. So
But that proves Atlas's point. You don't need to play the whole game to get that mentality. You could play like a portion of the game and they'll get the same thing. You're streaming the game, giving them it, like, who cares how far you go then? Why do you need to stream the whole game? See how this doesn't make any sense? See, Atlas is making more sense now. If you think about it, they don't want it to spoil, but they're allowing you to stream as much as they can, and that's enough to get people to buy the game. Yay! Phil, you unintentionally, without thinking about it, proved Atlas's point and gave some validity to their restrictions. Good job. Good job. GG.
That's not a testament to people who are gonna go buy the game if they see someone play it and like it. I don't know what is.
But you played the beginning and someone liked it. You didn't need to play the whole game to do that. But whatever.
It's first-hand experience.
Because again, it's not like Phil's a popular Let's Player to begin with, and a lot of these popular Let's Players, like he's uploading on YouTube. A lot of people can just go to YouTube and look at what people are allowed to upload, and then make a base and judge it off that, or read reviews. This makes whatever. You're getting salty for no reason about this. TBH.
Now, yeah, sure, there may be some people who are going to say, Phil, well, I saw you play Persona 5. I watched your entire 120-hour playthrough, and now because I've seen the whole game, I don't have to buy it for myself. But the chances are, those people were going to buy the game anyway. They were watching it because they had no intention of actually going to buy the game. So who cares if they watch a Let's Play of it? It's so stupid of what...
Okay, yeah, in that regard, yeah, it is kind of stupid, but those people probably also don't give a shit. Just saying. They probably don't care if you can't stream past 7/7. They probably don't care.
Atlas is doing, and the sad part is, I don't know if or when Atlas will ever raise this ban. And because of that, I don't know if I'll ever be able to continue my playthrough. What I'm hoping is that even if they never formally announce it, maybe by, say, the summer of 2017, they'll be so lax and not really care because so many people will have risked playing the game at that point, and the plot will be so mainstreamly known that I'll be able to play it again. It sucks because this is a pick for me that's going to be probably Game of the Year, and I can't continue to play the game because of silly, outdated, ignorant, and stupid practices by a game publisher. Shame on Atlas.
Shame on them.
Well, that's my feelings about the game so far. I hope that gives you a better picture of what to expect if you were to play Persona 5 for yourself, and I'll definitely recommend it if you're a fan of RPGs at all, especially turn-based ones. I think you're really going to love this game, and you should check it out. If you want some first-hand evidence...
Oh, and the other thing I also want to criticize Persona 5 on, the one thing that drives me up the wall, mostly, is the cover system. It's good, it works, but sometimes when you're trying to, like, move it, he just goes into a way, like, it's kind of clunky at times, and I don't like that. I think that it should be a little bit less clunky, but whatever. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's something that's, like, that gets me on edge when it's like, oh, alright, time to get into a wall, then I go on the wrong side of cover, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna get caught, and then, like, that's kind of shitty, but it's not that big of a deal.
In the description of this video, I've put a link to my raw playthrough up to now. Over 40 hours of gameplay that you're going to enjoy, so give it a look, check it out, and if you like it, hey, by all means, go out and get the game for yourself. Also in the links to this video are many other cool things, such as my Teespring merch store. There's also my Patreon. There's also a discount code for Loot Crate. Lots of cool stuff down there, so definitely check out the description of this video. And also, if you liked the video, please consider giving it a like here on YouTube. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time right here on KO Gaming. Peace out, and see you then. And hopefully, I'll see you later this year when I'll be able to finally finish up Persona 5. Peace out.
Man, what a shitty fucking video. Now, onto the finale. He did a vlog about Persona 5's restrictions, and I said this on Twitter. This is what a spoiled brat says. Because on Twitter, he was like, he made a big hubbub about how they pushed back the restriction to like on November 19th in game, and he also complained about that. It's like, Phil, fucking at least be happy with what you get, TBH. But let's watch this. 24 minutes. This video could be 6 minutes, TBH.
What is going on, everyone? DSP here with an impromptu vlog. I actually wasn't planning on making any vlogging or anything today, but due to the developments in regards to the change to the terms of streaming Persona 5, I wanted to make this update video, not only if you're a fan of my Persona 5 playthrough and are curious if this means I'm going to be continuing it and you want some info on that, but also if you're not a fan of Persona 5 and you're like, well, wait a minute, now that he can stream it, is that now going to affect his ongoing playthroughs and stuff going on right now? So what I'm going to do is talk a little bit about the changes that happened today per Atlas. I'm going to explain how that's going to affect my schedule, all right? So everyone, will get the info that they're looking for. So first off, if you're not aware, I was playing Persona 5 starting in early April from the day it released.
So now we get his full story now.
April 4th, all the way up through April 21st. I believe it was April 21st, almost a week ago. And I had to stop then because I had reached the in-game date of 7/7. Now, why did I have to stop streaming and recording Persona 5 at 7/7, July 7th? Well, it was because Atlas, the day before, actually I take it back, I think it was 2 days before.
Honestly, everyone who's watching this knows. Fucking get on with it.
Or the game has actually been released in North America. Released this big statement on their Atlas USA blog post. And the statement basically said, we will not allow you to live stream or record and broadcast or upload videos of a Let's Play of Persona 5 past the 7/7 in-game date. We feel that that would lend to spoilers, and we don't want the whole plot of our game spoiled, therefore do not do it, or else you may be subject to things such as stream takedown notices or DMCA copyright, claims. It said that right in the post on their blog.
Okay, take a sip, chew the water.
So, of course, no one knowing actually when the 7/7 in-game date's going to be or whatever, everyone started playing the game. Come to find out, the 7/7 in-game date is only about a third into the game. For a game that's supposed to be as upwards of 120 hours long if you do all of the content in it,
oh no,
only letting people stream and or do a Let's Play of the game up to the first 40 hours or third of the game is kind of ridiculous and incredibly restrictive. And a lot of people had a lot to say about that, both YouTubers and Twitch.
But it's not that ridiculous, though. If you're playing the game as a fan, like, I bought the game, I'm still playing it, I don't care about the restrictions because I'm not streaming it. No one cares about this. It sucks for streamers. Yeah, the streamers might care, but they're not going to, like, they're not crying in their hats about it. They're just like, oh, this sucks, and they moved on. Like adults.
Streamers, big and small, all came out together collectively and kind of said, we disagree with this practice. Streaming and doing Let's Plays on YouTube of video games is free advertisement. It should be protected under fair use. It just hasn't gone to court yet, so no one can actually argue yet whether or not it is because it has not been hashed out in court. But a lot of lawyers have said it could be a gray area, but it may be protected under fair use as a transformative work.
Fair use is always in a gray area regardless of the medium, because I mean, usually reviews, if they use clips, people tend to say that is under fair use, but like video games might be a little bit more, I guess, but who fucking cares? I mean, if Alice doesn't want the game to be streamed, they don't want it to be streamed. There's a lot of games out there to play.
Therefore, unless Atlas was going to take people to court, it's kind of ridiculous for them to have these restrictions. So a lot of people went ahead and during the month of April actually went past that 7/7 in-game date. Well, guess what? A lot of people did, but a very small few actually did get punished. There was I don't want to say one or two, but a few streamers at least actually got permanently, or not permanently,
well,
that was completely wrong. Temporarily, very short-term suspended from streaming on Twitch for like a day because they were found streaming past that certain date.
Of course, everyone will get in, people get in trouble all the time, some people don't. It's, it is what it is. Take a sip, chew the water.
On YouTube, there hasn't been widespread like DMCA takedowns or whatever, but there were reports that some people had their videos either blocked or claimed or taken down via Atlas because it went past that in-game date, all right?
Okay.
So for me, I was playing at my own pace over the course of April, and it actually took me until April 21st to get to that 7-7 date, at which point I said, I have to suspend my playthrough. There's no way I can continue. This is my livelihood, my life's blood. It's not like, oh no, if I can't stream or make YouTube videos for a couple of days, it's no big deal. No, I need to be making money every day to pay my bills.
I have to make money every day, then play other games. You weren't crying about money this whole week, like, so far. Like, I mean, he was crying in the pre-streams, but he was getting bits and cheers and tips and all kinds of shit. Like, he was making enough. This band didn't matter to him. Whatever.
So for me, it's a huge deal if something negative happens like that. So I said I will not go past the in-game date, regardless of the fact that there are other people who haven't gotten away with it. I'm not going to take that chance, in particular, because I know that with the amount of people who have a bug up their ass about...
But he was willing to take that chance. I do remember him saying in a pre-stream weeks ago that if his fans tell him that a lot of people are not getting in trouble, he will go past it. I remember him saying that specifically. Then he pushed it back to summer. Then he's like, oh, well, in summer, they're not going to care. But if no one is streaming Persona 5, wouldn't you think that they would be able to go after him because he's the only one? So he'd kind of be, like, sticking out in a sore thumb. Usually, the reason why a lot of people are able to go past 7-7 and not get in trouble is because a lot of people are doing it. And Atlas cannot get everyone. They can only get, like, a good amount, like, or a certain number. That's why some people have been getting caught, some people haven't. If he's the only one streaming Persona 5, just saying.
Me, despite the fact that I've never even met them and don't even know.
Oh, now he's talking about the detractors, the detractor segment. Yeah, no one has been spamming Atlas about him doing this. If anything, they've been spamming Twitch about him begging for bits. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much the only thing that people have been reporting him about. Everything else, not really. No one's been saying, Atlas, look! No one. I've not seen a single person do that.
The fuck these people are. They've been spamming Atlas's social media accounts every day I played Persona.
Show me these tweets. Who told you this? Brightside Viking? He's a fucking idiot, Phil. You shouldn't listen to idiots. But you are also an idiot, so I'm not surprised.
Saying, Phil's playing Persona, you should take him down. He spoiled the game for me. You should take him down. Now, luckily...
No one said this! No one said this! Oh my god, I'm so tired of these fucking blatant lies. Shut the fuck up, fatty.
Didn't give a shit and they ignored it and didn't do anything about it.
Yeah, sure, they ignored no spam. No one spammed them, dummy.
I said, you know what, of me being...
And honestly, I honestly remember the whole thing with From Software last year, Dark Souls 3, that they said that they were gonna, like, take people down who get the game early and stream it. Remember that? He did it anyway. Didn't get in trouble. I was like, oh, look, they don't care. Now it's like, now he thinks Atlas is gonna be... Like, what the fuck? It's either one day he's saying that the company cares about these takedowns and they will take him down. Some days they say they won't care and all this stuff. He streamed Dark Souls 3 early and From Software said that they would take people down. And... yeah, people were spamming From Software when he was doing that. I think what's going on with this is that he's taking the story from Dark Souls 3 and just rephrasing it to Persona 5. He's just changing the game and changing the name of the company to fit his fucking narrative of this because this never happened. This never happened. I follow a lot of detractors. And I've not seen a single one of them spam Atlas about Persona 5. Not one. So who are these people?
One person who I know this will happen, people will spam the shit out of them. If I go past that in-game date, I may get punished. I'm not going to do it. I can't chance it.
Yeah, okay.
And the truth of the matter is...
But you chanced getting your YouTube channel shut down when you played Dark Souls 3 early. But you won't do it for this game because people are gonna snitch you out, even though From Software had the same requirements. as Dark Souls 3. Okay. Phil, you make a lot of... You're really smart.
There's been new stuff for me to do. I had to finish up playing Yooka-Laylee. This week I've been playing Outlast 2. Now I'm playing this other new game, What Remains of Edith Finch. And then this Friday is a new game, Little Nightmares, that I was looking forward to playing. Next week we've got a ton of new stuff in Neo DLC. The new game called Prey. I got my Worst Games Ever marathon this Sunday. So you see what I mean? I had tons of stuff lined up anyway. It didn't matter to me that I couldn't play Persona. It was just...
Even though he whined about it for weeks, for every time he streamed Persona 5. If you go to a pre-stream when he streams Persona 5, he most likely bitched about it. He talked about it. He talked about it in his fucking review. But he doesn't care about it. Yeah, okay.
Pointing, because I love Persona 5. It's one of my picks for Game of the Year so far this year, and I certainly want to keep playing it and finish it, but it wasn't like the end of the world for me that I couldn't continue on with the playthrough.
Like, that's what I say when, like, he should at least admit that he does care about this. Like, it's the same argument. If I said that I did not care about DSP, oh, I don't care about him at all, you can obviously say that I'm bullshitting you, because obviously I care enough to make a video. So yeah, I admit that I do care enough to make a video about DSP, because I care about some of the shit he says. I don't care about his fate. If he is off Twitch, if he's on Twitch, if he's still making money, I don't care about that, because I'm not crying about that. But I am talking about how he talks to his fans, all that kind of stuff. But see, that's the difference. I actually know... I can't say that I don't care about DSP when I'm making a video about DSP. DSP is making a vlog about Persona 5, talking about the ban on his review, his pre-streams, non-stop, and he's trying to say that he doesn't care. Yeah, sure you don't. Okay, Phil, if you don't care about Persona 5, then I don't care about you at all. Yeah. Okay.
So that was 5 days ago. Today, ladies and gentlemen, Atlas released a second post on their USA blog. I'd like to read this to you so you know what's going on. All right, here it is. Okay. I'm going to read it word for word, and then I'm going to give you my feelings and interpretation on this updated blog post. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, DSP interpretation.
An update on Persona 5 and streaming. When Persona 5 launched, we put out a set video... excuse me, I already screwed up. When Persona 5 launched, we put out a set of video streaming guidelines that we hoped would limit online spoilers for fans who have yet to play the game. To our surprise, we then saw numerous reactive news articles go up, opinion videos post.
Wow, look at this, like, fucking, dramatic, oh, but, like... Whatever. I really wish Alice pulled a DSP and just not listened to the feedback and said they're all fucking detractors. Fuck them. They're mentally ill.
And received many emails asking us to please change our Persona 5 streaming and video policy. We recognize that our fans are the reason why this game is the major worldwide success that it is, and we continue to want them to be able to enjoy the game without fear of being spoiled.
See, like, they listened to feedback. They took the feedback, which Phil doesn't do at all. Says, they're unhappy about this. Okay, well, we'll just push back the date later. Okay, normal people, everyone that probably read that was probably like, oh yeah, cool, that's cool, Atlas, I like that. I like that rule, thank you. Thank you for pushing it back so I can play more of it. Phil, like the little princess he is like, that's not good enough, I want a full playthrough. Don't fucking give me these restrictions. No restrictions. Fuck you, Atlas. Like, he's such a little princess. He wants, like, these absolutes. What a fucking baby.
However, we also heard your issues with the guidelines and have decided to revise them. Because we want to give players the most access to the game while respecting the original goal, we're now asking players to refrain from streaming or posting videos past the end of the in-game date of 11/19, or that is November 19th, when the main story actually gears up for the final act. We also want to apologize to those of you who saw the previous guidelines blog post as threatening. We want to be transparent about what we do and the reason we released the guidelines.
Okay, I gotta say this. I disagree with that blog poster saying, oh, we don't want to come off as threatening. It's not really a threat. I don't think it's a threat at all, what they said. Like, with that logic, I could say Twitter is threatening me because they say that I can't say certain things. Like, when you go on a service, if you go to Twitch, Twitter, whatever, you are agreeing to their terms of service. And they have every right to punish you if you break their terms. Atlas has had a set of terms for their game with streamers, that's not really threatening. It's just them saying, don't go past this. Just to enforce that, we're gonna do this because obviously the honor system's not gonna work. I mean, if Twitter said, well, we don't want hate speech on our platform, so don't say it, and then people say it, and they're like, okay, well, we're not gonna do anything about it. So, whatever. We said not to, and they're doing it anyway. Whatever. Now, I mean the argument with Twitter is a whole other can of worms. We don't have to get into that. I just use them as an example. I don't agree that these restrictions are threatening. I didn't feel threatened about it because it's like, don't stream this. I would have been like, oh, okay, I won't stream past it. All right, and then keep playing the game. I wouldn't care. It's not threatening. It's just you're telling me that you don't want me to stream past a certain date and there'll be consequences. That's fine. It's your game. You're telling me that's how it is, and that's fine. I don't see that as threatening, so I kind of wish they didn't word it that way, because fucks like this guy is gonna be like, oh, threatening, oh, they're threatening my livelihood, dude.
Was to give streamers the right information up front. It was never our intention to threaten people with—
How was it not transparent? See, this guy who wrote this blog, I really want to see this blog post, so I'll let this play and I'll
copyright strikes, but we clearly chose the wrong tone for how to communicate this. Lastly, we want to thank our fans around the world for supporting Persona 5 and Atlas. The game is a global success because of your passion for the series, and we're happy that so many of you are enjoying it. End post, okay? So in a nutshell, the one big update in regards to—
Okay, hold on. I pulled up the post. Let's see. Oh, okay, they did say threatening. Okay. Oh, all right. Okay, see, Phil, I believe you. I believe you now that they said that. I still don't think that it's threatening, TBH, and I don't see how it's not transparent. They said don't go past 7-7. We want to avoid spoilers. Don't do it. If you do it, you will get strikes or whatever. That's pretty transparent because you're telling me why. It's because of spoilers, and you're telling me what would happen. Pretty transparent, if you ask me.
Persona 5 is that anyone can now live stream or continue on with a Let's Play of this game all the way up to the November 19th in-game date. So, July, August, September, October, November. 4 entire in-game months.
Yeah, there's 4, Phil. You fucking counted. Man, he really thinks his viewers are fucking idiots.
Now, I've spoken to some people who've already beaten the game, and they say, well, November 19th, yeah, that basically starts the end game, and the end game's like the last quarter of the game. So essentially what Atlas is now saying is you can do a Let's Play and stream of Persona 5 all the way up the first 3 quarters of the game, but that they don't want you going past that date, okay?
That sounds so fair. That sounds really fair to me. What's wrong with that? Let's see what he says.
So I have a few things to say in response to this.
Take a sip, chew the water.
Because I've got to admit, whoever is posting these blogs has some fucking balls. And I'm going to explain to you why right now, alright? First of all,
they got some balls to post on their website a blog post about this stream. They got some balls. Who fucking cares? It's their blog. I mean, it's like me saying, oh, Phil has some balls to say that his viewers are fucking idiots in his forums.
It's good news. I mean, it sucked that we had to stop to begin with. It's absolutely ridiculous that you buy a game and you're being told you cannot broadcast it after the game's out. I've already talked till I was blue in the face about this issue, but I'll mention it one more time. Persona 5 has been out since September in Japan. The game has been publicly known what the plot is for the better part of 6 to 8 months. Everyone's known what the fucking game is for that long. You can go to Wikipedia right now and you can find the entire plot of the game. You can go to YouTube right now and then find an entire Japanese language playthrough of the game.
But why? But oh my god, who fucking cares? He's really gonna nitpick this fucking restriction? Phil, shut the fuck up, grow up, act like a fucking adult, and just stop whining. Beggars can't be choosers. You wanted to play this game further. They said, okay, you can play longer, but just don't go past this point because it's near the end of the game. That's a fair fucking cutoff point. Shut the fuck up, Phil.
The game has been fully public for a long time. So that any kind of stupid requirements or restrictions on streaming or Let's Plays, because it's in English, makes no sense whatsoever. There's
Yeah, because not like people who prefer the English language is gonna watch a Japanese language playthrough to know the full story, right? Yeah, there are people who like Persona 5 and Japanese anime and all that stuff in English. So why would they suddenly decide, well, I'm gonna watch the Japanese version? Come on, get the fuck out.
one single piece of logic there. If someone wants to see a Let's Play of the game, they can already see it, or they could just read the plot synopsis somewhere else. Doing another Let's Play just because I'm doing a Let's Play doesn't mean that I'm spoiling anything. You can't spoil something that's already been spoiled for months. That's like saying, you spoiled the plot of this movie that came out last fall. What? Like, everyone is...
Are you fucking dumb? Are you fucking dumb? So, okay, so I want someone to do this now. I want someone to fucking do this to Phil. Watch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and then when it comes out on DVD, when he's about to buy it, this the day one it comes out for download, or digital distribution or whatever, I want someone to spoil that movie for him. And if he gets angry at you about it, just say, the movie's been out for months now. If you wanted to see it, you could have seen it. As you said, and I quote his fucking voice, what he just fucking said, you can't spoil something that's already been spoiled, or already been released, or whatever. Because that is a bullshit fucking defense. Yeah, you can't spoil stuff, regardless of when. The only time that there is a, well, you know, you had time, is if it's like, to me, I give it 5 years. Generously. Sometimes I go with 2 years, 1 year, rarely. I only go 1 year if it's like a very popular thing and I know that everyone's seen it, but I usually go by like 2 years minimum. Then I go up. But I try to respect people who haven't seen it. Sometimes I might be a dick and accidentally spoil something unintentionally or just, you know, whatever. And I do apologize for you afterwards about it. I don't sit there like, well, you know, you had time. Like, you don't know other people's lives. Like, on my Facebook, I posted... you know, like, Capcom talked about the ending of Resident Evil 7. And I posted on my Facebook, and someone said, Theo, I can't believe you spoiled the game. Are we just spoiling the ending now to this game, or whatever? I think it was mostly talking about Capcom posting that, not necessarily me. But I said, okay, well, you know, I'm sorry I shared. I did not know you did not beat the game yet. And I left it at that. I didn't sit there like, well, you had months to play Resident Evil 7, and it's a short game. You have no excuses. This guy, you know, has a life. He has a job. He might not have time to fucking beat it. Just saying.
To know the plot if they wanted to know it by now. That's preposterous. You had to actively go out of your way to find out the plot of the game. If people didn't want to know it, no one's going to run up to them and say, oh, by the way.
Okay, I want to say this. I had a friend over yesterday, and I was playing Persona 5, and I was getting fucking frustrated with this guy because he happened to be drunk. And he kept telling, and he beat the game already, and he kept telling me, Theo, I want to tell you the ending of the game so bad so we could talk about it, it's so cool, it's so good. He kept telling me all this stuff, and I'm like, look, I want to play the game, I want to get there on my own pace, I want to play the game, I want to be there on my own. And he was like, oh man, and he kept almost spoiling it to me, and I had to tell him, look buddy, I know you mean well, if you spoil the game for me, I'm probably not going to talk to you for a while, because it fucking sucks. And he got it. He stopped doing that shit because I told him how it is. I told him don't spoil it. I really want to see it for my own eyes. Like he already told me a little too much he told me that there's like a bad ending. So it's like, oh great. Now I know there's like multiple endings in this game. But you know but someone's probably gonna say, well, that's typical for Persona games, Theo. Yeah, I know, probably, but you know, let me figure that out.
Here's the final title or final twist of the game. You know what I mean? It's so stupid. It doesn't make any sense. And I already talked about this. It's basically upper management of Atlas Japan not understanding internet culture, not understanding Let's Play or streaming culture, having no idea what it's about, and basically just leaving out these edicts because they're stupid. They're not street smart. They don't understand the...
Oh my god, shut the fuck up about street smarts. It's not even what you're talking about that makes it street smarts. You dummy. Street smart is like being on the street and knowing how not to get killed.
implication and the culture or anything.
Whatever.
They're not in line with it. To have any restriction on a stream like that after the release of the game is completely asinine and just proves that you're stupid. It's just that simple.
Stupid.
The upper management of Atlas Japan is fucking stupid.
Then don't play their games. I'm sorry if you're crying this badly about Persona 5 restrictions, even though the restrictions are a lot more reasonable. And these restrictions are much more reasonable, and he's bitching about it. What a fucking princess.
There's no way around it. There's no other explanation, okay?
Take a sip, chew the water.
Again, it's good news.
Good news.
Now I can play, if I want to play Persona 5, I can continue my playthrough from, where I am, 7/7, all the way up to November 19th. But then, wait a minute, I can't continue after November 19th.
I just said earlier that they changed the restrictions. Now, but there's restrictions. Huh, that's weird. Man, how does that work?
Let's talk a little bit about this. The last quarter of the game, the last 25% is still off limits per Atlas. And this is why I have to say the person who posted this on the Atlas blog has balls, because they literally, within one sentence,
one sentence, guys. He's drunk. If he thinks this is one sentence, guys. One. This. Oh, he's telling like this. Isn't that like a Nazi thing? I don't know. We don't have to do that, but it's still dumb. I say one thing, guys. This is one. Okay. You can count, Phil. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 6. What a fucking dummy.
Completely did a
actually, no, this might be 6, actually. He's 5. No, never mind. I'm a fucking idiot. But at least I figured the mistake. He's saying 1, guys, 1.
And basically proved that the statements that they're saying is a complete bullshit. Alright?
So this?
In the second paragraph of this blog post, it says, I'm going to read it word for word again for you. Ready?
Okay.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Because we want to give players the most access to the game while respecting the original goal, we're now asking players to refrain from streaming or posting video past the end of the in-game date of 11/19. Okay?
Okay.
But then, in the very next paragraph, we want to apologize to those of you who saw the previous guidelines as threatening. We want to be transparent about what we do, and the reason we released the guidelines was to give streamers the right information up front. It was never our intention to threaten people with copyright strikes, but we clearly chose the wrong tone for how to communicate this. So, in one paragraph, you're saying you're sorry that you threatened people with copyright strikes and that you took down streams and struck people with copyright strikes, because they did. There's concrete proof. People were taken down on Twitch and YouTube because they put out these streams and videos, so it happened. But it was never their intention to issue copyright strikes. It wasn't your intention, yet you did it.
Again, they told people straight up that they would get strikes. The intention wasn't the strikes that they were talking about, Phil. The intention was that they didn't intend for the articles to come off combative or threatening, even though I don't think it was. It didn't sound threatening to me. It just sounded like they were saying, don't spoil it, or there'll be consequences. That's really it. I mean, yeah, I mean, in that tone, it is, but it's saying, don't do this. If you do, we'll take actions to prevent this. They didn't intend to be like threatening, like, oh, we're gonna fucking kill you. They're just saying that we don't mean to sound threatening. It's just that that's how it's gonna have to be. Whatever. I mean,
what? What the hell? And that's the best part, is that the paragraph before, they said, we're not lifting the restrictions, right? The ideal state here would have been if Atlas came out and just blatantly said, ladies and gentlemen, we realized we were wrong. We've seen this massive backlash on the internet, and in order to stay in line with our fan base and our big customer base, we are removing all restrictions. Feel free to just play the game to the end and enjoy it, and everyone have fun. Persona 5 is an awesome game. Hope you enjoy it.
But again, the what you get is better than nothing, Phil. They didn't even have to loosen the restrictions. Like, that's like, it's like you get caught for speeding or something, and the cop comes over and it's like, he could either impound your car if you're going really fast, or they can give you a court date, or they could give you a lot of things. And the officer says, you know what, never mind, I'm just going to give you a warning since, you're being really polite. Or they would say, okay, well, I'll give you a ticket, but you won't go to court for it or whatever. They might give you something halfway. Ideally, they would just say, okay, we'll just give you a warning and then let you be on your way. But if they say, well, we can arrest you for going the speed, or we can do this, but instead of doing this, we'll do this instead. You're not going to tell the cop, officer, it would be better if you did this to me instead, and you're doing this is a fucking dick move. Fuck you off. Like, come on. Like, you're telling me, Phil, that would you rather have them keep it to be the 7-7 date, or would you rather have them go this, or have the restriction be at 11-19? Which would you rather have? Because obviously they don't want to remove the restrictions completely. You have to be happy with what you get. You can't be beggars can't be choosers. You're either gonna have to, make lemonade out of the lemons you get, or you're gonna complain about the lemons you have. I mean, it's like, stop being a fucking baby. No. Even babies are happy with what you give them. Like, come on.
That would have been the ideal state, and everyone would have said, wow, that's a mea culpa right there. They realized how bad they did.
A mea culpa.
Now, they're making up for it. Good on them.
But people are just as happy with these restrictions as they were regardless. They're like, yeah, it might not be great, but it's better than nothing. It's better than not streaming the game that they like to stream and share with people. What a fucking idiot.
But they didn't. Instead, they said, well, we admit we were wrong. We're sorry if you found what we said as threatening. And we were really sorry because we didn't intend to threaten you with copyright strikes. But they did, and they did issue copyright strikes, and they did take down streams. So they're literally talking out of the side of their mouth completely bullshit.
But they said this after the fact. Like, they might have changed their tune about issuing copyright strikes or whatever, but oh my god, what a dummy.
And then they say, oh, by the way, we're not really removing the requirements anyway. There's just later requirements. Now you can play till 11-19, but we're still telling you, refrain from going past that date. We're just saying. So now they're not going to threaten you with the copyright strikes anymore. We're going to say, we're just saying, you better watch out.
He's not a clown, guys, but oh my god, what a fucking asshole. Fuck this guy. This part is kind of pissing me off, to be honest. I hate when, like, I just hate this tone of voice. It's just smug for no reason. He whined and bitched about the fucking 7-7 restriction, and then they're like, okay, well, you can play more of it until 11-19, which is like near the end of the game, which is reasonable and understandable, and people are other streamers are probably like, okay, that's fair, that's fine, yippee, and he's fucking bitching about it. He's fucking bitching about it. Get the fuck out of here.
Because we're watching you. You better not go past that date and spoil the game, or we're coming for you. Oh, but we didn't say that. We don't want to sound threatening. So we're not going to issue any copyright strikes, but don't.
With that fucking logic, everything's a threat. They're just saying, don't go past this date. If you're taking that as a threat, everything's a threat. Everything. With that logic, he threatens his fans every day. Every day. With that logic. You go on his forums, you're already threatened. If you say something negative, you'll get banned. So he threatens everyone daily with this very flimsy, weak-ass logic that he's using against Atlas. Because them asking people, don't stream past this date, is threatening. Get the fuck out of here.
Surprised if you get some. Like, what? This blog post is so just, like, fucking... what's the word? Two-faced. That's the word I'm looking for. It's two-faced. We want to be the good guy and pretend like we're doing something positive for you, but at the same time, we still didn't actually make up for it, and we're actually not even really taking responsibility for the fact that we did strike you with copyright strikes or took that.
Even though they made an apology. Usually when you make an apology, you are taking responsibility for what you did and what you said. But them moving the restriction is like, they can argue, we are the good guys because we still want to prevent spoilers, So we're just moving the restriction to the end game. This fucking guy is an idiot. He's an idiot.
Your streams, we're now saying we don't want to be threatening, but then you threaten in the same fucking post. Don't go past 11:19. That's a threat. That's a direct threat. You can't say we don't want to threaten you and then
Phil, you can't say you're not a threatening person and then when I go on your stream chat, you say ban the negative dicks out there. Like, I feel threatened because apparently I'm a negative dick, or I might say something that might constitute a ban. Like, honestly, I had an account on his fucking forums. I talked about him using a green screen. I got banned for that. I don't know how I got banned. I wasn't even insulting. So every day that if I decide to make another account, I might feel threatened because he's gonna ban me because he banned me before. I mean, get the fuck out of here. They're just asking you not to go past that date. Get the fuck over it.
Threaten you in the same fucking page.
He has to dramatize it so badly. Like, he's like, I gotta dramatize everything about Persona, dude. Oh my god, my life, it's fucking hard, dude. I have to wake up every day knowing that Atlas might get me, dude. Get the fuck.
It seriously just
blows
my mind. This is how game companies handle issues like this.
It blows my mind that you make everything about yourself, you dramatize everything, and you are complaining about something that is, that no one else is complaining about. Stop acting so fucking entitled and spoiled. Get the fuck over it, you baby. A baby. My rabbit, who, yeah, I know, I do spoil my rabbit, okay? Yeah, what of it? My rabbit has more she's much more mature than this fucking baby. Come on.
Like, it's a no-brainer. Your game's already on the internet everywhere. The plot's just say, okay, just play the game till the end and enjoy it. We apologize, have fun. Would have solved it, and everyone would have been super happy. Instead, they have to do this half-assed, two-faced post that kind of still screws people over because they want to finish the effing game.
But remember, he doesn't care because he has other games to play, guys. Remember, he doesn't care about this.
You know? Now, for me, allow me to explain how this is going to affect me and my streaming schedule and all of that. Because immediately when this happened today, people were spamming my stream chat and posting it up on my Twitter. Phil, does this mean you're playing it again? When are you playing it again? What's going on? What's this? What's that? All right, here's the deal. Let's talk. I already have a schedule laid out. All right? I already do. And it would not be fair to those who watch things like the weekend preview or who listen to my pre-streams every day or who look at my Twitter schedule for me to say, oh, well, Persona 5's back on the table, so screw everything else, throw it away.
You do that anyway, but secondly, I thought you were a fan of Persona. I'm sorry, but if I was streaming and I'm a huge fan of a game and they had these restrictions or whatever, so I'm like, okay, well, I'll do whatever, and then I'm like playing another game. Then if they say, okay, we're lifting the restriction or pushing the restrictions later in the game, I'm like, okay, hell yeah, I love this game. I'm gonna play it. Fuck what I had in store. I'm gonna play this game, and maybe find time to play the other games anyway, or whatever. But I guess he isn't a fan.
Back to Persona 5. No. Sorry.
No.
I mean, I love Persona 5, but that's not fair. That's not fair to me because I want to play these other games I announced, and that's not fair to people who are looking forward to those playthroughs. So
it didn't stop him before from screwing over the schedule, TBH, in the past.
As of right now, the games that I already announced, including What Remains of Edith, God, I keep forgetting her last name.
Finch.
I still can't remember her last name. It starts with an F. But that
Finch.
game that I started today on stream, first of all, oh my god.
Oh my god.
Wild. Dude, I played it for 40 minutes, and everyone in the stream and we were laughing hysterically.
Part of me also kind of thinks that he did his vlog not only to shit on Atlas, but to also like plug his streams to get more viewers. Just saying.
We can control ourselves. The game's fucking crazy, zany. Like one of the weirdest things I've ever done, and it's so different and it's fun. And
fun.
I can't wait to play more of it. I've actually heard the game's super short though, so I'm just a little disappointed because it's going to end up ending tomorrow on stream. All right, that I'm finishing it. I'm definitely finishing it this Friday. Little Nightmares. I'm definitely playing it, and I'm going to see if it's any good. I've already announced these games. I'm not changing my schedule up completely because Atlas decided to concede and let me, oh god, give me permission to stream a little bit more of their game that I already paid for. No. Well, the way it's going to work is that Persona 5 will now be the game that I play whenever I have a day where there's nothing going on in the realm of a new release. So allow me to explain. Tomorrow, I'm playing What Remains of Edith, whatever. I still can't remember her last name.
Finch.
If I finish that early, which it looks like I will, because people are saying the game's only about an hour and a half to 2 hours long, and I've already played 40 minutes of it, okay. Then, after that, I'll reset the stream or whatever, and we'll go to Persona. We'll play Persona 5 for a while tomorrow on stream, all right? This Friday and Saturday, I'm still playing Little Nightmares. This Sunday is my Worst Games Ever marathon. Monday, I've got off, and Tuesday is the Neo DLC. So it looks like I'm booked for the next several days.
I'm booked.
But let's say I finish the Neo DLC within 1 to 2 sessions, and that leaves me with an open session, say, on Thursday of next week. Then that stream will be Persona 5. See what I'm saying?
See what I'm saying?
Then Prey comes out that Friday, so that's busy time. But then maybe when I finish up with Prey, if there's nothing else going on, I'll throw Persona 5 back on stream and into the mix, and maybe alternate it with other things that are going on, okay? That's,
so Persona 5 is basically on back burner forever.
The way to approach this. That way the Persona 5 playthrough is never on permanent hiatus where it gets super stale because I never have a chance to play it. And it's the perfect thing to fill in between other gameplay streams when there's downtime. In particular, it looks like that second week of May, there may actually been some big downtime where I'll maybe playing Persona 5 a lot, but we'll see, okay?
We'll see, okay? Take a sip, chew the water.
Now, in particular, what about Danganronpa?
Danganronpa!
I said in April, sorry, Danganronpa's going on hold, because there's no way that I could be playing 2 Japanese-centric games at the same time. It would be overloaded. It would cut into its own viewer base.
I just love that he's like, I can't do 2 Japanese games, but I can do so many Western games at the same time. And I like that face he's making. I'm gonna save that face. You know, this is gonna be a good emote.
No one would be able to keep up on the videos. Plus, that would isolate a bunch of people who don't like that kind of video or that kind of game, and they would go away and never come back, right?
Never come back, right?
Here's the deal with Danganronpa. I need to finish it in May. Like, I've committed that I need to finish this playthrough, because right now, the current goal for this month on Patreon, my Patreon, is a Patron's Choice playthrough. So I need to finish Danganronpa in May, so that come June, July, I can start up this new Patron's Choice playthrough. Danganronpa will complete in May no matter what. The way I'm planning on doing it is this. I'm going to have a main gameplay stream every single day. Okay?
Okay.
And what I'm going to try to do is balance that with offline stuff at night. So one big stream every day, 4 hours of gameplay.
We know.
At night, maybe I'm doing a game review. Maybe I'm doing a video like this, right? Maybe I'm filming a vlog, an unboxing, or something like that. Or, if there's nothing going on to do at night, then I will play some Danganronpa until I beat the game. So it's not going to be every night. In particular, just to give you some perspective, tonight is Wednesday, April 26th. Right after I finish this vlog, I'm playing The Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 4. That's my night tonight. Tomorrow, I'm putting out my review of Outlast 2. That's my night tomorrow. Get it? So,
get it?
It's not going to happen anytime soon. In fact, this Friday night, I've got personal stuff, bills to pay. I got to get my car washed. I got a lot of personal shit to do.
Car wash.
But within the next week or so, there's only gonna be about like one new game coming out a week, and therefore, because there will only be one new game going on at a time, that new game will be my gameplay stream for the day, and then at night I'll start doing some Danganronpa. So probably I would say that first week of May, you probably want to count on Danganronpa resuming, and then probably finishing within a few weeks of that, okay? It'll be that game that every couple days or every other day I'm playing offline at night, okay? So Danganronpa, even though I may still be playing Persona 5, I'm going to continue with Danganronpa as the offline playthrough. Understand, Danganronpa doesn't get streamed, so therefore it doesn't really interfere with anything that I'm live streaming, okay? It's new games are basically getting live streamed, while narrative-based tales are going to be kind of recorded offline like I've been doing.
Take a sip, chew the water.
So, that's the deal. So, to recap, I'll give you a rough idea of the schedule for the next couple of weeks, because now that Persona 5 is back on the docket, I know a lot of people want to see it.
Okay.
Tonight,
docket.
The Walking Dead, Season 3, Episode 4. Tomorrow, streaming the conclusion of What Remains of Edith, whatever, I still can't remember, Finch, isn't it? Finch. What Remains of Edith Finch. That concludes on stream tomorrow, and then immediately following that, I'm going to be doing Persona 5 on stream. Tomorrow night, I'll be doing my Outlast 2 review. Friday will be the premiere of Little Nightmares on stream. Friday night, I got personal stuff to do, so I won't be doing anything. Saturday, Little Nightmares again on stream. Saturday night, I'll be doing the weekend.
He said this fucking schedule not even like 20 minutes? He said this already. Come on.
Preview and a few other offline things, so that's going to be
Come
a little
on.
early, I know, this week with the Week in Preview. The reason being because Sunday is my marathon, the worst games ever marathon.
We know.
Which is going to be, boom. Wow, I should have had the name of the game in my head before I said boom. Ride to Hell Retribution, Revolution 60, and Scarface. So we're playing those 3 games all day Sunday. That's going to be an amazing stream. Monday I'm off. Monday I got personal stuff to do. Tuesday I'm back with the Neo DLC, balanced with, at night, yes, it's probably going to be the return of Danganronpa come Tuesday night. That's what I'm thinking, all right? And then we'll probably do the Neo DLC again on Wednesday. Again, we'll see what's at night. Maybe at that point, I'll want to maybe do more Little Nightmares if I haven't beaten it yet, because I don't know how long Little Nightmares is going to be. You know, we'll play it by ear. But more than likely, next week, you're going to see Danganronpa return and the possibility of
this could have been in the fucking Week in Preview. Come on.
And then once we start getting into the slower times of May, like that second week of May is really slow, not a lot going on, then you're going to see more Persona 5 Danganronpa get kind of brought back into the schedule with the hopes that, you know, Danganronpa will conclude by the end of the month. Persona 5, there's no way it's going to conclude anytime soon, because 4 more in-game months is probably going to last me another 40-plus gameplay hours. So you're talking like 10 sessions, right? Before I even talk about getting to the point where I'm at November 19th and I can't progress any further. So that's the deal. And then fingers crossed, let's hope that Atlas, you know, by the summer, when probably will be when I hit that November date, finally wises the fuck up and says, just do whatever, just finish the game, and people could just finish the game, because this is...
Yeah, people can't finish the game, apparently. I guess I'm fucked, then, because I'm working on playing that game right now, man. Whew, I didn't know Alice was gonna come get me if I didn't stream it. Oh, wait, no. Phil only streams it. He thinks all gamers stream games forever. Okay.
Dumb. I've never read a more two-faced fucking post. We didn't want to come off as threatening. We apologize for that. It wasn't our intention to do copyright strikes, yet we did. And we took down streams. And by the way, don't you dare go past this date or else it'll happen again. Then you did intend to be threatening. You're threatening me right now.
It's threatening! Ah, dude! He said don't stream past here. It's not like they're asking us not to do it so that we don't get spoiled. No, that's a threat, dude. Okay, so with that logic, if I go to your forums and you say in your rules, don't talk about haters, don't be a negative dick, am I gonna say I feel threatened because DSP is telling me I can't say these things? Oh my god, dude, I'm being threatened. Oh no.
Someone has a gun in your face. I'm not intending to be threatening.
A gun, dude. A gun. A gun, dude. There's a gun in my head. Atlas is pointing a gun to my head, dude.
I'm just saying, do what I say. What? Like, how stupid do you think we are, honestly? Do you really think your customer base is dumb? Because that's what that post tells me.
Well, if everyone in their customer base was you, Phil, I would say they're pretty dumb, but I don't think they are. Because a lot of Persona 5 fans don't give a shit about this restriction. They're like, oh, yeah, well, it sucks for streamers, but whatever. At least we can play the game.
You think I'm stupid and I can't read and I don't have reading comprehension, that in one paragraph
you don't have reading comprehension. I'm sorry, Phil, you don't.
And me, and the next paragraph you apologize for threatening me.
Not a clown, guys. Take me seriously. Take me seriously in this 24-minute vlog about fucking Atlas. Take me seriously. I deserve to be taken seriously. I'm Darkside Phil.
Swear to God, the gaming industry is still the Wild West. Any other industry, if someone did something like this, they'd be made a laughing stock of. They'd be fucking hung by their balls out to dry. People would be fired because you say you completely destroyed us and we lost face.
No, because if someone uploads a movie to YouTube in its entirety, they usually get slammed, buddy. But whatever. Okay, yeah. Only video games.
You know, look about what's going on right now with airlines. Are you aware of how bad airlines are right now because of one customer that got mistreated on an...
Okay. First off, actually, I should have said this as well. Video games isn't the only media that does this. Basically, like, if a lot of reviewers get slammed by other movie studios when they review a movie, like, look at what happened with Cool Cat. Which is a silly thing to bring up, but whatever. But he's bringing up the United Airlines shit. And this isn't that, and the story isn't, like, a customer got, like, bumped off a flight or that, they wouldn't give him a refund or something. The guy got fucking forced out of an airplane. He bought the tickets for. No one was like volunteering to leave, so they forced him out. They grabbed him. He was bleeding out from it. That's not the fucking same as someone saying, don't stream past this date. That's not even comparable. Of course United's gonna get a lot of flack for that. Someone was physically harmed. Phil, if Alice came to your house and punched the shit out of you, you probably would have had a better time with this comparison. But they aren't. They're just saying, don't stream past this date. Get the fuck over it. And really, you're comparing? Oh my god, fuck off.
Airline really badly. All airlines are taking a hit. All their stocks are plummeting.
All airlines? All airlines. No. Only United is taking it. Delta, I guess I think United is part of Delta, I think. So they're both kind of taking a hit, but they've had like history. But they're still getting enough customers to stay in business probably, but they're taking hits. Southwest, Northwest, whatever, those airlines, other airlines are not. Because people need to fly, Phil. The world won't stand still because an airline, was physically harmed. The world will suck for that particular airline because, that airline did physical abuse. No other airline did that. You really can't compare these two things. They're completely different. You're a fucking idiot if you think all airlines took a hit because of this. No, it's just United, you dummy.
And they're all doing terrible. All these stories are coming out about terrible service at airlines. That's one.
Only one story came out. I mean, unless there was another story, another slew of stories I might have missed. But I think he was talking about United.
Video games, this shit happens. Everyone's like, meh. Like, oh, it's
meh. Fuck you. But the reason why no one cares, Phil, is because no one got physically abused. A company did not go to a streamer's house and beat the shit out of them. Why do you think swatting was a big news story? Because people were getting physically harmed out of it. No one gives a shit about restrictions on streaming because it's not harming anyone. You have other games to stream for starters, so you're not really in financial trouble. You can find another game to make money on. So that's why no one cares. It doesn't affect shit. No one cares, Phil. You're the only one who cares.
Hey, that's for kids, right? It's not a big deal. That's what gets me. It's like,
it's for kids. Well, video games technically are for kids. It's just that they're also for everyone. But, yeah, because kids are professional streamers that get paid money, right? Shut the fuck up, Phil. You think every Nintendo fan is a kid. You make the same sweeping generalizations all the fucking time. Don't act better than other people because they make similar stereotypes. You're a fucking idiot, Phil. Get over this.
With the fact that fucking multi-billion-dollar industry, the biggest entertainment industry in the world, and it's still treated like a joke because, games are for kids, right? So it's not serious. No one cares.
It's a multi-billion. It's a very it makes a lot of money because kids are overcoming. Like people are having kids. I know, crazy, right? And people are always buying video games. It's like movies. The reason why no one cares about it is because it's a fucking streaming limitation that doesn't affect anything. It only affects streamers, but a lot of other streamers are like, okay, well, can't stream Persona 5. Well, better stream another game because, they play other games.
Okay, so go ahead. You write those two-faced posts, Atlas, and I'll call you out every time and make you look stupid.
Phil, keep making these dumbass videos, and I'll keep calling you out on being stupid, okay? Deal?
I can't believe how dumb you think we are that we're going to take it like a threat. Oh, we're not threatening you. We're sorry. But here's the threat right above. 2 lines above. All right, everyone.
Water.
Thank you for watching the vlog. Hope you found it informative.
What a shitty
Persona
vlog.
5 resuming shortly tomorrow. And, Danganronpa will be coming back soon as well. So it is good news. Thank you for those who were patient. Sorry that everything had to go on hold to begin with, but we'll get back on track shortly. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching. Peace
Nazi
out.
salute.
I'm gonna jump right into The Walking Dead right after I upload this video, so I'm excited. So hope you'll check that out as well. See ya.
And he really loves that Nazi salute. Let's take a look at the comments. I'm gonna take this off since I'm not doing any video. This guy gives a nice little breakdown. As you mentioned in your Twitter post, even those who don't care about Persona 5, I think it would be great to insert a timestamp for those who just... Yeah, I agree. Oh, three comments that got deleted. I guess he threatened them away. There is no proof that people were banned because of the restrictions. There are a ton of streamers that streamed past the game. Well. This Atlas stuff is hilariously dumb and backwards. Not really, it's not really backwards. But I guess Japanese game companies being far behind the times when it comes to the internet is nothing new. Wow, this comment, you can easily make the case that it's xenophobic, but I'm not gonna bother. He's not worth it. Even though I just said it, but oops. I'm a two-faced dude, man. I'm making whatever. The full story and cutscenes of the game have been available since way before the US release with fan translations. Yeah, fan translations. No one really gives a shit about fan translations because fan translations can always be wrong. I know, right? It's fucking spooky. All my friends... Okay, I'm not gonna bother reading that. You know, you could just ask LPers and Twitch streamers to put spoiler tags. How do you put spoiler tags in a video? That's a good question. If you're curious, Phil, on your shirt it says Ryu, okay, which means green, white in Japanese. Ryuku means what the? Okay. But he was whatever. Who fucking cares? Oh, this fucking guy. Wait, was it Atlas Japan? I'm not sure about that. Oh, fucking guy. The original post by Atlas literally says, "Our masters in Japan are very weary about streaming." That's word for nah. Why does the guy post in bold? But whatever. I'm not gonna bother reading that. When it's Persona, watch the fucking video. He literally says it. Great video, Phil. Keep up the good work. Why is this a comment? Fans won't hold the game companies responsibility because they want more games. It's simple as that. No, fans won't hold game companies responsible for fucking streaming restrictions because they all don't stream fucking games for a living. And they probably don't give a shit. Everyone who probably streams doesn't even give a shit. Phil's probably the only one who cares. Really wish Phil would stop with the shitty tail-up games. They were never good. Just keep cash-ins on unpopular fads like The Walking Dead. Just my opinion, of course. Okay, cool. Excellent, Phil. Looking forward to the stream. For Atlas, it's okay to talk about your coworker's sex life, though. What? Some developer slipped in a very vulgar message into their Famicom. What does this have to do with anything? What? It has nothing to do with anything. Where are the Phantom Thieves when you need them? Because the game, dude. Unless Japan did the same to Japan. Yes. Okay. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. I know, crazy, right? See you in the next one. But remember, I don't remember the joke. Fuck. See you later.